Let's bring in Minnesota Private Business Council member and former Republican Minnesota Attorney General candidate, Jim Shultz. Jim, thank you so much for being here. I mean, man, a lot going on in the city and state that you love. What is your reaction to all of this?
Well, it's another really painful and traumatic experience for our state here, and again, we have a circumstance in which the governor of our state, other leaders have totally failed to step up to meet the moment. Tim Walz, has said that the state is at war with the federal government. That he's calling up the National Guard to oppose the federal government. This is really just bizarre behavior on the part of our president. Really troubling in terms of his state of mind, in terms of how he thinks about it. We need leaders right now to step up, turn the temperature down, to bring people together. And I'm sorry to say that Tim Walz continues to do just the opposite. It's not just Tim Walz. It's so many of your elected leaders. Over the past 48 hours, we have heard complete misunderstandings of law. And as an AG candidate, I'm sure, you saw that as well. We've also seen a lot of rage and, quite frankly, lies when it comes to facts. So what do the majority of Minnesotans think when they see their elected leaders, led by Tim Walz, demonstrating what they've shown over the last 48 hours? Well, I think you'd have to say that the vast majority of Minnesotans are just deeply troubled by the trajectory of our state, particularly over the past 5-6 years of Tim Walz's leadership. He's been totally ill-equipped. He's been totally negligent in so much of his leadership, whether it comes to circumstances like this, when it comes to fraud and so forth. And so the average Minnesotan is looking out there and saying, what happened to the state, this true leader of the country that we had just a few years ago?
Vice President J.D. Vance made a big announcement yesterday announcing a multi-state fraud task force, of course, in the wake of the Minnesota fraud scandal. He did this during the White House press briefing. Listen to how that sounded.
We're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis. It's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible.
So the Trump administration is creating a new assistant attorney general position focused on investigating fraud in Minneapolis and states across the country. Do you think that's what's needed to get to the bottom of all of this?
Well, for a long time now here in Minnesota, all the prosecutions around the massive fraud that's been present in our state that we've heard so much about, all of those prosecutions have been done by the federal government. The federal government has stepped up, and on the other hand, our state authorities, Tim Walz, our Attorney General, Keith Ellison, and so many others have brought no prosecutions on our side. And so instead, the federal government has to step up on account of that. And so absolutely, this is welcome. This is needed. We have to ensure that taxpayer dollars are used appropriately in our state. We've seen that they certainly are not, and that state authorities have again failed to step up. And so absolutely, the federal government needs to continue to step in here. We're talking upwards of $500 billion in fraud, upwards of $500 billion. What do you think the connection is, Jim, quickly, and how intertwined are the issues of this fraud with illegal immigration? Well, the fact is that there is substantial fraud here in Minnesota from the Somali American immigrant community here. That's the vast majority of where the fraud is located, and that's absolutely unacceptable. And the fact is, we need to show the world that if you commit fraud in the state of Minnesota or anywhere else, that you're going to see serious prison time, that you won't get away with it. And unfortunately, for a very long time now, to your point, Todd, people have felt as though they can get away with it. They have, but hopefully that will stop now, not just in Minneapolis, but in cities across the country. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.